Tim and Barb Wood have been serving the people of Ometepec, Mexico for over 15 years. They have continued the work of Tim's parents, John and Madge Wood, who first came to this area in 1951 to plant churches and assist in medical missions. Tragically, Tim's parents were both killed in 1964 when Tim was just 10 years old. But now, over 50 years later, Tim and his family live in the house built by his parents and enjoy a unique and evolving ministry in Ometepec.
I'd gone to see a soccer match in Mexico City between two well-known teams. And as I was looking at the match, I turned and I looked up to the stadium. I said, Lord, forgive us. The men and the young men were in the stadium, the people that you don't find in churches, you know. And so it really touched my heart much more to get into using sports as well. So we came to Metepec, we put together what was known as the Maranatha Soccer Club. And with the pastor of the downtown church and other young Christians, we started forming the team. We had a youth team, we also had a children's team, and we had our first division team of the league. And that has created just a great atmosphere of meeting people with a ball.
Tim and Barb serve with Sports Outreach Institute and typically minister to over 1,000 young people and adults who participate in Ometepec soccer leagues each year.
I built friendships for over 10 years. We had a veterans team. I play soccer with these guys, and it really helps you build relationships. So sports opened up a lot. Then also as we moved in here, we found there was need for another church.
Tim's parents planted one church in the region years earlier, but since then the community has grown and evolved. Tim and Barb felt a new work would enable them to better serve the people.
In our church plant that we started, it was really kind of interesting as the Lord helped the church grow, preaching every Sunday and discipling. Part of our goal is 2 Timothy 2:2, faithful men who will in turn prepare other faithful men. And it's been exciting the last few years as the elders have been preaching as well in the church. Before I was the only one preaching. And also visiting, and we put together a lot of different type of small groups that we've been working with. It's a different church than the original church because the town has grown and we need more churches. From 9,000, we're close to 60,000 population in Ometepec right now. And it's been exciting because when we came back in '98, about half of 1% of the people were Christians, and now we're probably over 2% and working on that right now. So that's been an exciting time as we've been able to pastor the church and grow. And now we have some kids in Bible school and one going to seminary, which has been very neat as the church continues to grow and prepare leaders. We're in the church plant, 2 other places. We're planting new churches, and I've been working with our local presbytery and helping 3 other churches become churches, fully organized, independent groups that sustain and help themselves. We started seeing that there was a tremendous need in education. Also, there was a level of society that we weren't able to, it was hard to penetrate because they have everything. The poor sometimes are easier to reach, but the middle society is hard to reach. So we started praying to God about maybe starting a school. And we realized that probably the greatest need was what we called secondary school here, which is 7th, 8th, and 9th grade.
Like a junior high school. The Lord has just really been blessing the school. It's called the Reginald Carey Brenton School. And we've had people, why did you name it that? Well, he's in your history. He was called the father of the Mexican Navy.
Captain Brenton was a British admiral that not only provided leadership for the new Mexican Navy in the late 19th century, but also did missions work in the regions around Ometepec.
He was a personality, a local person buried here in the cemetery, as well as a Mexican hero in one way, Mexican recognized person, as well as a man who believed in the Lord and those principles of God that we wanted our kids to have.
What we do is we use a Christian worldview. We integrate our material. So if you're teaching English, or as I'm doing, and I can use the Bible for a lot of things that when I'm teaching English, but also the values that come across. You're teaching history or math, any subject that you teach from a Christian worldview.
It's really kind of neat to see how God is working, because part of our aspect of it is forming leadership. Not just leadership in church, but leadership in society. And these will be the future leaders of our society. I have a missionary camp we put on the end of July and beginning of August, and the objective there is to challenge leadership, young leadership typically. We go for 1 week of training, then 1 week of missionary service. And it's been neat to see how many have been committed to the Lord and working that. So we have our camp ministry goes on, as well as every week we minister in the hospital. We have a devotional in the waiting room, and then we go and share the Lord's message as well, bed to bed. And Amistad Hospital, continuing the vision that my father and Dr. James Boyce had of reaching the whole man, that they were sent down, the spiritual man and the physical man, and giving those words of hope that only God can give to each one of us.
So, through sports, church planting, a community school, hospital ministry, and youth camps, Tim and Barb are impacting Ometepec for God's kingdom.
The gospel changes lives, and that's what we really want to see. We want to see change of lives, which changes society. You know,
Exactly.
and sometimes we try to change it from the top down, but the bottom up is what God did. I mean, Jesus says he talked to people in local society, and their families started changing, and society started changing. And I think that's what's exciting about the message of the gospel. It isn't a religious experience, it's a personal relationship with Jesus that changes. It's a life experience.
Amen.